Welcome to Lesson 4, Assessing Your Worth. So, some of you find this episode interesting, but I'm going to explain to you how assessing your worth is going to benefit you, okay? So, the mindset affirmation for today's lesson is I am important. I am valuable. I have gifts to offer the world. To recap lesson 3, we talked about adopting the mindset for this new way of being, my secret formula for success, and tips for managing negative thinking. In this lesson, we're going to talk about how valuable you are, and I'm going to help you figure that out. And having a piece of paper handy would be very valuable in this lesson, as with all of my lessons. Okay, so because I'm going to give you a little writing exercise coming up here very shortly. So you'll learn in this lesson how to assess your worth, see and feel your value and what you can offer the world, and how you can, and also help others how they can see it too. Okay, so we're going to talk about defining self worth, which is different than self esteem, and then the exercise on assessing your worth. The focus is on building the unique you. And this most important relationship starts with yourself first. Okay, self love. And what this means, I'll explain to you later. It's kind of difficult sometimes to put into words. Assessing your worth from the inside instead of the outside. Feeling worthy with or without self defense, since I do explain that as that's what taught me my self worth on a totally different level. So, we're going to talk about right now love and the cultural teachings, specifically from American culture, since this is where I grew up in Pennsylvania. Let me explain how love is shown to us basically that it comes from outside of us. And maybe you've heard older people, elders, and different, if you've spoken to people that have talked about self love and you have to love yourself and all of this sort of stuff. But I never really understood when I heard those sorts of things what that meant. Really, so not only did I not understand it, I was expecting it to come from a person. And I think that's a huge part of almost like the falseness, or I feel like the untruth, because a lot of us grow up thinking that's what it is, right? The focus is on finding a mate. And when you are loved and all of that sort of magnificence, feeling loved, that makes us feel valuable. So, this has been a cultural thing from my perspective. Okay. So, what I'm here to talk about is yes, you can still be in a relationship, but of course, also being able to stand on your own feet and feeling that sense of independence and freedom. Okay. And that basically I'm okay with or without you. I'll be okay. So I will go into explaining more on this. And that's actually, again, for another episode that I should do. But let's get into the exercise right now. So I just explained about love coming from the outside. So how are we going to find it inside? And I know this may also sound really annoying because I've been in your shoes already. If you've kind of already felt like this where you think it is about finding a person, who makes you feel beautiful and that you're sexy and that, all of these sorts of things worthy of being in a relationship for. Um, being enamored and being admired. I get all of that. So this took me actually a very long time. I don't even know, like from the beginning, I want to say like 10 years, but anyway, okay, again, that's for another show. So let's go into the writing exercise. If you were to put a dollar amount on how much you think you should be paid an hour, what would that be? And I know this sounds funny. That's why we are doing this exercise, because I will explain later, is that no matter what talents and gifts that you have at this particular point, we're just using this example, or I guess I should say it's not matter. It's not no matter. It's based on your talents and skills and experience and everything you know, and the jobs that you had and what you were paid, and all of these taking it in consideration. What do you think you are worth per hour? Okay. And I'm not here to judge that dollar amount, but I think it's a good indication, especially for yourself, to look at these sorts of things, and not to say, I mean, something is low or high, or however you want to, what kind of category you want to put it in. I just want you to write down something, okay? And an idea of what you think you are worth, and what also too do you think is possible for you to make, right? If you could have an unlimited amount, what would that be? Hourly wage or a salary raise. And I know in the first responder industry, in some ways maybe you could feel that it's um, limited, but there's lots of other facets of ways you could make money within it, I'm sure. Okay. Or areas of the country. Maybe you live in an area of the country that actually doesn't pay you that much and you could go somewhere else, right? Many different factors. So if you want to write down also your lists and talents, and also the new advanced skills you could learn, this is a good time to do this, right? It'll give you some goals. If you have no idea at all, just start brainstorming and writing different things, of what you can think of, okay? So this is an important step in finding your worth, which I could give a lot of examples, but the series I'm making into mini lessons because I want to make it bite-sized baby steps and things that you will be able to put into action right away, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and end this episode with you working on this, and I will explain how this is one of the parts of self-love building. There's going to be more to this, okay? But I want to end with this. And then I also want to end with talking about, I talked about that there is a difference. I know it sounds confusing, between self esteem, self worth, and confidence. And so, with that being said, I will say I've taken different definitions and different meanings and different things that I've read, of course, all over the internet regarding these sorts of things. And what I came up best to describe is that, okay, confidence is the faith in your abilities. Okay, it's that confidence. Self esteem is the way you feel about yourself, just in general, right? That could be even more specific. You can look that up if you want to know. And self worth has to do with value, place, and purpose in the world. And I will give the example is that when I was right before self defense, I didn't find Krav Maga until about age 35. And I had a personal confrontation. It wasn't crazy gnarly or anything like that, with a family member. And basically, I did not stand up for myself. So, not only was I having an anxiety attack, I lacked social skills, didn't feel like I could defend myself. He's a lot larger person than me, so intimidation and all of those sorts of things. When I realized, I've told this story a few times, I walked away the next day and I said to myself, I'm not a dumb bitch. Why didn't I say something? Why didn't I do something? Why didn't I just say stop? And so that was one of the biggest transformations in my life, not talking to that family member for over a year and finding Krav Maga 6 months later. And when I was learning it, I realized that yes, I would have said I was a competent businesswoman. I was confident in certain areas of my life, but I was not confident in verbal skills. I was not confident in physical skills. I had a lot of fear. This was also fear of getting hurt, fear of all sorts of things, fear of being attacked, fear of guns, fear of all of these sorts of things that I have. And I realized through my self-defense journey what that path did for me and all of the drill training that we did. And that's how I'm here to talk about the difference between worth, feeling worthy of defending, feeling almost like not overcoming a fear of dying, but kind of like, I'm going to die trying, if anything, right? I'm not going to give up. And yes, so that was a big part of my life. So I'm ending with that example, and I want you to start with that writing exercise because it's one place to start aside from self defense, which is the story that I just told you. And that is just one of the ways that we can start with. And for those of you that aren't going to do any sort of self defense, I can definitely help you get to this place of worthiness along with verbal and social skills, which I actually learned opposite. I learned physical skills before verbal skills. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and end this lesson, and I will see you in lesson 5.